Hey all, this is David Ducker coming back at you, and today I'm going to be talking about trolls, how I do trolls in my game. Should be a short video since in my game trolls are basically primitive cavemen, or they follow that archetype at least, the complete savage, the the Neanderthal, incapable of culture, incapable of casting magic spells or praying to gods. They don't bury their dead. They usually don't even make tools. A very, very smart troll might be able to make a stone-headed spear or a stone axe. More typically, they'll just sharpen a stick if they can, or just beat you with a heavy stick or club that they've ripped off a log. I'm doing this video so I can say that I've finished all of my greenskin races. I've already recorded videos on ogres, goblins, and orcs. So only the troll remained, even though they're very uncomplicated in my game. So there's only really 2 or 3 things I have to say about them, other than what I just rambled about. First, their history is that in my game, dragons ruled the earth at a certain point. They enslaved the giants. And eventually the giants rose up against them, overthrew them. Some of the giants, though, fled underground. These were called the Fomorians, and their race split into orcs, dwarfs, and also into trolls. Trolls would probably be the closest direct descendant of them. So that's where the troll race comes from in my game. The other interesting thing is their biology, is because trolls in my game are immortal, and they regenerate, and when they reach adulthood, or at least when they start functioning in their primitive Stone Age society, they're only about 3 feet tall, which in Pathfinder would be small-sized. But they grow throughout their entire lifespan. And being immortal, that means that, ancient trolls will be enormous giants. And throughout their life, because of their odd regenerative abilities, sometimes they'll develop tumors or, odd growths. This is fairly rare, but they will also develop extra arms. They'll grow extra arms out of themselves, or extra heads will sprout off of them like mushrooms because of their regenerative abilities going odd and going off. And as they get bigger, it's more and more likely for this to happen. So eventually you get the mighty Jotun troll, which has 5 heads and 4 arms, and they're just towering over everything. These huge mutant abominations. So that can be very interesting. So that allows me to use trolls in my game both as that kind of low-level cannon fodder, which a lot of games use what they call goblins or kobolds as, that's where I use trolls. Tiny trolls are fighting vast droves, hitting you with the Zerg rush of trolls, and they're only 3 feet tall. They have pointy sticks, and they're running around in loincloths. It's a great way to use trolls. And as they grow larger, though, they tend to form more isolated communities. So though those trolls might be the spawn of a medium-sized troll, who's their leader, or later you could even run into a larger group of trolls, and it's still got all of the small-sized ones, but maybe it has quite a few medium-sized trolls, and then one large-sized troll is 12 feet tall. Maybe he's grown an extra arm or an extra head. And then this kind of just keeps escalating, until you can run into huge, vast hordes of trolls led by a Jotun troll. Or you can get some of the larger trolls moving out on their own and just living by themselves. Especially once they hit large size, they might get discriminated against by the other trolls, and they'll push him out. Or he'll just have to kill them all, and he'll be left alone anyway. So this allows you to use trolls. Really, they're the only race in my game that I would really call a monster. That's humanoid. They have no culture. They're very aggressive. Role-playing opportunities are very low with these trolls because they're so stupid and so primitive. You know, they can barely speak, and if they can, it's their own weird language they've invented, and they definitely can't learn to read. So trolls are the only real race I use as monsters, but because of their biology, they can fill a lot of niches as monsters. They can be the tiny swarm monsters, they can be medium size, they can be large brute monsters. So they allow me to fill a lot of niches, you know, even up to savage giants. Since the ogres and the goblins and the even to a degree, the orcs in my game are more civilized. You could make an argument for orcs still being monsters, but they have, I'd say they have enough potential that they're just over the line into being a real race. Whereas trolls definitely are not. You know, they're very weird. Their biology and their role playing ability is not there. I was talking to one person from the brigade, the YouTube RPG brigade, and he loves the way I do trolls. He's like, oh man, what if I bring in like a half troll, like someone who's raped by a troll, and I'm the child of that rape, the result of it. So I'd have all these weird regenerative abilities because of my troll heritage, and you know, I'd be really dumb, but I have all these this weird ability, and I'd slowly be getting larger as the game went, and getting tumors and sores and sickness. So he really took this idea and he ran with it. You know, I think that's a great idea, bring that kind of character in. But for the most part, there's not a lot for me to do with trolls other than throw them in as a mindless horde or a single brute monster. So it's a short video. I think it's, for what it is, it's pretty interesting though, bringing that regeneration aspect of the troll. I'd love to hear what you do with trolls, how you run them, and what you think of this idea for trolls as well. Or if you've actually had a troll that was useful for role-playing, I'd love to hear about that too. But I'm going to sign off now. Everybody have a good day. Cheers.